Joining us now is Texas Congressman Pat Fallon, who sits on the House Oversight, Intel, and Armed Services Committees. Congressman, I want to get your reaction to what we heard from Senator Slotkin and the other Democrats. In that same interview, she also referenced the movie A Few Good Men. So it seems as though they're flailing a little bit, but I want to get your initial reaction to what you saw on the Sunday shows.
Well, I think Senator Slotkin should know that she's not in the chain of command, and she should know better. And she was coming from the intelligence side, not even the military side anyway. When, as a junior officer 30 years ago when I served, this is basic 101 military stuff. They tell you about the fact that you don't have to follow illegal orders. So this is not only redundant, it's dangerous and it's subversive. And I found it interesting, Tommy, that they had a lack of significant specificity when they were talking about this. What are you saying is illegal? We already know this. So why don't, all this really is a pathetic attempt to steal some spotlight from the squad.
Congressman, hey, Jason Chaffetz here. One of the things that was going on with Senator Slotkin is she asked, as you point out, give us a specific, and then she has to go back to World War II saying, oh, well, there's some stuff that happened back then. But Glenn Beck pointed out, I've read it. It seems to make sense to me that under 18 U.S.C., I think it's 2387, this sort of interference with our troops, do you think it steps over that line? Does it go so far as to interfere in that chain of command?
She's definitely interfering with the chain of command. She has stepped over the line, and it is, as I said before, it is subversive. And for them to sit there and compare it to Nazi Germany when we have, it was interesting that where was the left when Barack Obama was using drones and military assets to kill Islamic fundamentalist terrorists? And they were defending it. If you remember, Jason, they were defending it, the Obama administration, by saying a nation has an inherent right to self-defense. And it was the laws of armed conflict. If you're a combatant, we can take you out. What in the Sam hell is the difference if you're a narco-terrorist? We lost 80,000 Americans to opioid overdoses last year. That's about 219 a day. That's like asymmetrical warfare being waged against the United States. And I'm glad President Trump is stepping up and defending us.
Congressman, I want to talk to you about Venezuela, but I want to put this thing to bed with the troll by the Democrats. Article 90, 91, 92 of the UCMJ, when it comes to unlawful orders, you and I both have had to raise our hands and live under that, or the manual for courts martial. Everyone, please look that up and ignore this troll and attempt to set a narrative by the Democrats. Now let's get to Venezuela. Operation Southern Spear. Should we expect to see direct confrontation in the coming months? Do you have an idea, you sit on the committee, do you have an idea of how the conflict with the Maduro regime could end?
Well, it would end badly for the Maduro regime if they want to take on the United States of America. The problem is that we have to decide is what's that vacuum going to look like in Venezuela if Maduro is deposed? What lies ahead could be worse than what we have now. But what Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have done is they put them on notice that if you think that you can go ahead and kill this many Americans, World War II, if Slotkin wants to mention it, let's look at that. Our greatest conflict, we lost 400,000 Americans, which amounted to about 295 a day. 219 a day due to opioid overdoses. Most of the precursors are made in communist China, and they're ferried through Latin America. That is asymmetrical warfare, and we need to fight back. And Joe Biden wasn't doing jack about it. So I'm glad to say Donald Trump is bloodying their nose and putting them on notice.
Congressman, turning to the Epstein files, Bill and Hillary Clinton have been ordered to appear before the House Oversight Committee for in-person depositions. Chairman Comer says if they refuse, they could face contempt charges. He also highlighted other Democrat ties to Epstein. Watch.
Two Democrat members of Congress, Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader, his campaign was soliciting funds from Epstein, even told him they would meet privately with Epstein if he would make a big enough donation. And then you saw Stacey Plaskett communicating with Epstein to try to hurt Donald Trump.
Congressman, what's your reaction to what has been released so far and whether you expect the Clintons to testify before the Oversight Committee?
I find it remarkable how good the Democrats and the left are at deception, deflection, and spin. Epstein was a Democratic mega donor. He gave tens of thousands of dollars to the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee and tens of thousands to the Senate side, tens of thousands to the Democratic National Committee. And then he gave money to prominent Democrats like Hillary Clinton and Chuck Schumer and John Kerry. You heard Chairman Comer, talking about Hakeem Jeffries asking him for dough. So how is this a Republican issue? It's not. It's going to be problematic for the Democrats as these files and as these documents come out.
Congressman, probably why they didn't do anything with them during the 4 years of the Biden administration. But thank you so much, Congressman, for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thanks, y'all. God bless and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.